Yasu Malakido. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. Ben Simmons. Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't agree with that announcer more. I don't know where this guy's confidence has gone. I mean, he was drafted first overall. Great all-around player. Almost reminded me a little bit of Scottie Pippen. But Scottie Pippen was not afraid to actually shoot the ball. I mean, I watched this play numerous times. I watched it live yesterday, and we all know that I'm a Toronto Raptor fan. I mean, we have our own problems right now the last couple of years, but we're going to be okay in the end. But at least our players are not afraid to shoot, especially when they're right under the rim. I mean, like, the funniest thing I find is, like, not only did he not shoot the obvious basket, I mean, he could have shot it, he could have easily dunked it. I mean, it's not like he's Muggsy Bogues here, I mean, the guy is 6'11", 240 pounds. It looked like the guy was pretty much even backing off the Atlanta guy. And he was just going to let him have it. But instead, he decided to pass it. And, of course, the other player gets fouled. And the funniest thing is, afterwards, Ben Simmons just puts his arms up in the air like, what the fuck? Like what happened? Mr. Simmons, that's exactly what we were thinking. These are our emotions. You can't have our emotions. You should have just fucking dunked it like nobody's fucking business. Like Shaquille O'Neal in the fucking 90s. Orlando, the Lakers, the Heat, whatever fucking team he played for. The point is, Ben Simmons is a good player, but holy shit did he fuck up in this series. And even basically all year. Just for some reason, the man is afraid to shoot the ball. Now, obviously, Philadelphia has had its problems maintaining consistent players over the years, basically just, losing games on purpose just so they can get high draft picks. Don't worry, we'll be fine. We'll get good draft picks. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But this has been a long time coming, and you would think at this point, like in the franchise, they would actually have it together at this point, And, they ended up number one overall in their conference this year, So, again, you can't blame it all on Ben Simmons. You can't blame it all on Doc Rivers. You can't blame it all on Joel Embiid. But at the same time, I mean, you just can't ignore, like, what the fuck happened to Ben Simmons? And, like how did this end up happening to him? I mean, again, like, he's a good player, but why is he afraid to shoot the ball? And how did he get like this? I mean, how did it get so bad that, he can just easily miss a simple dunk? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to go back to Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, and we're going to have to dig deep a little bit about the career that is Ben Simmons and where did it start, what's the middle, and where's it going to end? Here we go. Benjamin David Simmons, born July 20th, 1996, is an Australian professional basketball player. He's Australian? Shit. Okay. I didn't know that. I mean, you don't see that often in the NBA. I mean, you know, you get the odd person from, I don't know, Nigeria or Italy, but all right, that's all right, cool. For the Philadelphia 76ers of the National Basketball Association, also known as the NBA. He played college basketball for one season with the Louisiana State University, LSU, Tigers, after which he was named consensus first team All-American and the USBWA National Freshman of the Year. Simmons was selected with the first overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft by the 76ers. After sitting out a year due to an injured right foot, he was named the NBA Rookie of the Year in 2018. Simmons was named NBA All-Star in 2019, 2020, and, believe it or not, 2021. That's right. This year he was considered an All-Star. It happened. That's a lot of people find that very hard to believe, but yeah, it happened. I mean, you know, he didn't have the best year, I guess, but it was good enough to win the All-Star ballot, you know, because in the end, I mean, the fans pick who they want. So, you know. So, yeah, man. Yeah. Simmons attended Box Hill Senior Secondary College before moving to the United States to attend Montverde. Is that how you say it? Montverde, whatever. Academy in you gonna make me say it again? Florida. In his only season in college, LSU began the season with high expectations. So did the Sixers. But failed to qualify for the NCAA tournament. Simmons left school to enter the NBA draft, becoming the third Melbourne-born, nice, a number 1 overall pick, following Andrew Bogut and Kyrie Irving in 11 years. Simmons is the son of an American-born father, Dave, who played pro basketball in Australia. A dual citizen of Australia and the United States, Simmons has played for the Australian national team. There you go. It's an awesome thing to represent your country where you're from. And it helps to have dual citizenship as well. So I'm sure, obviously, you know, Ben Simmons took advantage of that. And again, he did not take advantage of an easy shot. Listen, all I'm saying is, like, when you're that size, okay, it's, you know, you got to have somewhat of a force. I get it. Like, you know, you're still, you know, sort of small, I guess, compared to Embiid. But, dude, you're a big guy, man. I mean, you can, you know, you can take that shit on yourself. And I get it. You're a younger player. I get it. You know, you got to still learn the league and all that shit. But, again, you know, I mean, like, he was drafted in 16-17. Okay, so, you know, take a couple years to learn how the league works, you know, how the system goes and all that, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, man, I mean, you got to be more forceful. That's all. That's all. You know, but also says here that Simmons was born in the Melbourne suburb of Fitzroy. There you go. To father Dave and mother Julie. His father is an African-American expatriate who became a naturalized citizen of Australia. And his mother is a white Australian. He was raised alongside 5 brothers and sisters, Melissa, Emily, Liam, Sean, and Olivia. The first 4 being from his mother's previous marriage. His father played college basketball for Oklahoma City University in the United States before turning professional with the Melbourne Tigers in Australia's National Basketball League in 1989. Shit. So that's a pretty big family, man. I mean, let's be honest. I don't know what the rest of the kids do, but when you're basically, I'm just assuming he's the breadwinner of the family here. I mean, that puts even more pressure on you. So I'm assuming when you're again under the rim and you can clearly just probably jump maybe a foot in the air and just easily dunk it. A lot of the shit is probably going through your mind as well. You're probably thinking, you know what? I come from a big family. I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. I just want to play basketball, have a good time. But at the same time, how could you not care about your family? Any good man would want to care about his family. But maybe he doesn't want that responsibility. Maybe, there's times where he's just on the court and it's like, fuck it. I'm just going to pass the ball on to the next person and that's it. I don't know. Simmons was raised in Newcastle from the age of 18 months while his father played and coached in the city. Simmons began playing basketball at the age of 7 in the Newcastle Hunters under-12 representative team and played 2 more years for Lake Macquarie, there we go, and Newcastle. He also played junior rugby league. That's horrible grammar. He also played junior rugby league. He also played in a junior rugby league. Look, Wikipedia, I love you, but I'm just pointing the shit out. The point is, rugby is a very tough sport, okay? I don't have the time or the patience to explain rugby to you guys. In the last year of high school, they tried to get me to play rugby. Fuck that. That ain't gonna happen. No paycheck, no happening. So, got to be very tough to play that sport. If you want, look up highlights on YouTube there. So clearly, this guy's no pussy. But again, when you have the ball under the rim, you got to prove that you're not a pussy and just, don't pass it and, give it to the, tell the other player to inherit your shit. You got to jump up and just dunk it. Okay? I'm just saying. At age 10, Simmons returned to Melbourne and began playing junior basketball for the Knox Raiders. Along with basketball, he also played Australian rules football at the junior level. In year 7, while attending Whitefriars College, Simmons was named MVP after he helped Whitefriars win the 7-year Division 1A basketball premiership. There you go. So again, the guy's a natural. I mean, no one's doubting that. Will his shot be ever natural again? I don't know. Who knows? As a teenager, Simmons was torn between his 2 loves of basketball and Australian rules football, but eventually decided to focus on basketball. Will that be a good move? We're gonna see in the next year for sure. That's gonna be, yeah. In year 9, at the age of 15, Simmons played basketball for Box Hill Senior Secondary College at the 2011 Australian School Championships before taking up a scholarship at the Australian Institute of Sport in 2012. Later that year, Simmons made his first appearance in the United States at the renowned Pangos. I said it with a Greek accent. I don't know why. Maybe it is. I don't know. According to my parents, everything's Greek. All-American Camp for Basketball Prospects. Despite being only 15 years old, he was chosen to represent Australia at the 2012 FIBA Under-17 World Championship. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I know I've been giving Simmons so far a lot of shit, for just either shooting the ball or dunking it, just, when you're right underneath the rim. But, he's been doing this for quite some time. I mean, the guy's young, but it feels like he's been doing this forever already, right? And we often forget that, a lot of these players, they start off really young, And like I said, he was going back and forth with sports, and he decided to focus more on basketball, and obviously it paid off, But you can only do this for so long, And it gets to a point where the pressure will amount to a lot. So much that, sirens will go by in a podcast. And, guys, he's not here. He's in Philly, okay? Yep. Just keep going south from Toronto, and eventually you'll hit it. Yep, that's it, guys. Thank you. All right. In case you guys haven't figured this out by now, I live close to a hospital. So, I mean, the guy can't even... the guys in Philadelphia probably right now, he can't even... I would like to say that within a month, Philadelphia fans will forgive him for doing this, it's not like he did anything wrong. In a way he did, but, they did interview Shaq yesterday. He was talking on TNT. I love all four of those guys. Always providing great entertainment. Barkley, I think your gambling needs a lot of work, but that's a tale for another time. But even Shaq said, he talks about how, you're trying to, mold yourself and just be a good player. And, if you figure out you're not that good, like this late into the game, and then, everyone's like, oh, you got to go back to the gym and do this. And, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson is going to the gym every day. Does he fuck up on set? Probably not. And I'm pretty sure, again, if he was underneath the rim, he would just fucking dunk it and just break the glass like Shaq did. And then Shaq said, look, man, you got to man up. You got to man up. You got to man up, okay? Stop fucking around. You got to man up. I know he didn't say fuck because it's TNT, but we were all thinking what he was going to say. But, Shaq swore on the air one time. No one's going to stop him anyway, Oh, Shaq, we're live. I don't give a shit. Anyways, but again, it's a lot of pressure, and I get it. But this is the greatest thing about the playoffs is that, people always think, okay, it's the best players that are always going to perform. It's the best players under pressure that are going to perform. And maybe he's not that kind of guy. I don't know. Maybe, he's that dude that will be great in the season. And again, during this whole COVID thing, nobody in the crowds. And then all of a sudden, there's tons of people in the crowd. One jerk off that threw the water bottle at the end of the game, trying to hit Embiid, I guess. I don't know, whatever.
Whoever threw that bottle is going to be ejected.
Yeah, because I'm sure he'll stop being an asshole after that. Anyways. Yeah, so Philly fans are not very forgiving at all. I could do a whole podcast about those dudes. They booed fucking Santa Claus. But anyways, again, that just adds to the pressure. So, I don't know. Will he do better somewhere else? I don't know. I don't know. Here's some random facts about Mr. Simmons. He's a big fan of the opera. What? Simmons instead opts for opera. Oh, I thought it said Oprah for a second. Sorry, that's an old Fresh Prince joke. According to his teammates, yeah, he loves the opera. Huh. In opera, they usually hit high notes, right? Some jokes write themselves. He has a pet bearded dragon named Matumbo. Okay. And the plot thickens. Okay. If you were to ask Simmons if he was a dog or a cat person, he may instead tell you he's a bearded dragon person. I didn't know dragons had beards. I didn't know you could buy dragons. I don't know. I can never get into Game of Thrones. He has a pet bearded dragon named Matumbo, named, of course, after the NBA legend Dikembe Mutombo. Yes, the same Dikembe Mutombo who may have correctly predicted Simmons getting picked number 1 by the Sixers before the lottery even happened. Simmons showed off his pet back in September. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. Like, someone has a pet iguana or whatever. I mean, you can't fault them for being a bad player, right? I mean, you know. Aren't iguanas known to, like, jump high, you know? They can, like, you know, like, okay, let's just say, for example, let's say an iguana was, like, underneath, like, a basketball rim and they were holding a basket. I mean, if they were wide open, they would just jump up and put it in the basket, right? I mean, it's, he's childhood friends with Jazz point guard Dante Exum. Utah Jazz point guard and fellow Aussie Dante Exum have known each other since Simmons was 7 years old. Their fathers played together briefly on the Melbourne Tigers, which fostered a friendship that continues to this day. I wish I knew who Dante Exum was. I know he's a point guard for the Utah Jazz. I just heard this. Not that familiar with him. There's more Australian players than I thought in this league. Sixers head coach Brett Brown coached Simmons' dad in Australia. I didn't know Doc Rivers changed his name to Brett Brown, but anyways, yeah, you know, Brown in all likelihood will be Simmons' first coach. Obviously, this was written a long time ago, which is interesting since he already has experience coaching the Simmons family. Brown was an assistant for the Melbourne Tigers from 1988 to 1993, where Dave Simmons played. Okay. The Sixers head coach also coached the fathers of Kyrie Irving and Dante Exum while they played in Australia. Okay, so that's interesting. I did not know that. So when you first enter the league, he did pretty well. I mean, let's be honest. But he played for a guy that taught his father, that coached his own dad. So of course you want to be good for him too. You know, I mean, you know, you want to follow in your dad's footsteps and you know, make your dad proud. And at the same time, you're playing for a guy who helped your, you know, dad with his career. You know. So it must be a weird transition where, you know, you lose that ability, you know, to be able to perform with, you know, someone who taught your dad, and now you're playing with someone else. So could that affect his game? I mean, could that, you know, would he want to change after that? Would he want to try as much? I don't know. He's also a Knicks and Heat fan. Well, nobody's perfect. Simmons said in 2012 that his favorite teams are the Heat and the Knicks, which is ironic because, I mean, I don't know, he might end up there in the next few months. That was back when LeBron's talents were in the South Beach and the Knicks were a playoff team. They were this year, barely. So there's a good chance things may have changed. Okay, well, okay, you know, a lot of people wondered, why did LeBron go to the Heat instead of the Knicks? Have you been to New York in those cold winters? Enough said. President Obama shouted him out in January. Which January? Okay, January 2016. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's all I'm saying. You know you're a big deal when the president name drops you. When President Obama made a trip to Louisiana in January, he sarcastically called Simmons an okay basketball player during a speech, which is what I'm pretty sure he's saying a little over 5 years later. The tweet said, "Love them all, but as a Bulls fan, got to go with MJ. in Baton Rouge just met LSU freshman Ben Simmons. Will be great. But for how long? Bum, bum, bum. He played James Harden even in game of one-on-one last summer. What? See, again, he's sending people. You gotta proofread your Fuck, I gotta learn how to talk too. But proofread your shit, man. He played James Harden even in game of one-on-one. In a game of one. Fuck off. Who cares? It's the hottest day of the summer, or longest day, whatever the fuck. Who cares? Simmons, fresh out of high school, faced off against James Harden, fresh off an NBA MVP runner-up season. Thank you, one-on-one last summer. Seems like that's a gimme for Harden, right? Wrong. Simmons apparently held his own against one of the league's best players. Not bad for a college kid. And what's even better is they both have something in common. They both got knocked out the second round. He TBT'd a picture of him and Steph Curry from when he was 14. This image is no longer available. We'll assume it's true. Actually, let's Google it, shall we? Let's see what we can come up with here. Let's be honest. Ben Simmons stalled us out this Philly season. You guys can hold a couple seconds just for me. Why not? Let's see here. We got Steph Curry Simmons picture. Yep, there it is. God, there's such a good joke there. I can't say it because I'm white. But anyways, he's maybe a couple inches taller than him. There you go. That's cool. I mean, how many people can say that? It's the whole like Wayne Gretzky, Gordie Howe pick. Kind of like that. That's pretty cool. And again, who knows? He might end up on Golden State. Maybe once he goes there, surrounds himself with some veteran shooters, Maybe that'll be his opus? Is that how you say it? Anyways. We're all having fun today. That's probably better than any selfie you've posted to Instagram this week. I don't use Instagram. I don't care. His half-sister, Emily, is married to former NFL running back Michael Bush. I don't know who that is. He won a silver medal at the 2012 FIBA Under-17 World Championship with Australia. I mentioned that already. I just wanted to throw that in there. I'm just seeing who's listening at this point. Simmons' favorite shoes are LeBron Zoom Soldiers. That's a good way to get free shoes. He called LeBron James a mentor. There you go. Okay, so let's think about that for a couple seconds. Okay, so let's say if, for example, LeBron is, again, underneath, a basketball rim. That's right. And, he's wide open and he has the chance to, have the ball and just dunk it. I mean, do you think LeBron does one of three things? A, shoots it. B, dunks it. Or C, passes it to somebody else so they can get blocked, get fouled, and only shoot 1 out of 2 free throws, so they can only get 1 point instead of an easy 2. Again, I'm really laying it on pretty thick here. But again, these are things that have to get drilled in Mr. Simmons' head. Again, maybe he's going through something. I don't know. I have no idea, guys. I'm not there. I'm hoping in this gym that they keep talking about that they're going to train, they have, an actual basketball rim. you know, sorry, I just had this image of like Simmons like by himself in the gym, and he's underneath the rim, and he just passes it to the wall. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just picturing Bender in the Breakfast Club. I mean, like, at least he, worst case, had someone, to pass to, and I'm pretty sure that dude from Trading Places could have got it in as well. Anyways, he's being compared to some of the greats of the game. Not anymore. A few say Magic Johnson, which is funny because Magic Johnson put in his 2 cents online there. Does anybody know if Magic Johnson still has AIDS? I mean, like, what's going on there? I don't know. Like, I saw an episode of South Park years ago, and then he cured it with money or something. I don't know. They put it in a blender, or I don't know. He owns a lot of Wendy's franchise. I mean, that's cool. But yeah, he said, who are you gonna blame, Ben Simmons or Doc Rivers? Doc Rivers isn't on the court, he said, so you gotta blame Ben Simmons. I mean, even that subtle jab by Embiid there, like he said, the game turned when somebody couldn't shoot it in the net, and then they asked Doc Rivers after, we're gonna go to the gym. I don't know. You can't ask me that question now. I don't know. Like, can we ask you it in 10 minutes? I mean, fuck, man. I mean, you gotta have some answer. I mean, and again, I there's a part of me that really just feels bad for Doc Simmons. I mean, he got fired, and then he's back here, and again, with the whole Game 7. Fuck, man. I mean, this guy's got no luck. I mean, Jesus. But again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You can only be a good coach if you have good players. Let's just be honest, okay? It's, I mean, if Phil Jackson had Michael Okonde instead of Michael Jordan, then it might be a different story. But again, what are you gonna do? The Last Dance, that was still good. Anyways, LSU assistant coach David Patrick is Simmons' godfather. Simmons, if you're going to ask your godfather for any fucking favor at this point, especially at the day of your daughter's wedding, thank you. It would definitely be now, man. Just don't be afraid to shoot, man. Like pretend. I don't know. Pretend you're in that Adam West Batman movie, and you're holding a bomb, and you gotta fucking get rid of it. I mean, worst case, we just see you shooting, Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb, In this case, I don't know. You're bombing if you're not shooting, so just shoot the fucking thing, man. Fuck. Dick Vitale was starstruck when he met Simmons at a high school game. He met him when he was young. Dick is a very, very funny sportscaster. He's in a commercial right now where he's pouring Gatorade on himself. Very funny guy, So again, it's cool meeting these young players that are just going to do really well in the league. It's exciting to see that young talent, just start at the bottom. And again, like when you're at the bottom of the net, it's just easy to jump up when you're, close to 7 feet. And, Brett Brown sounds pretty pumped to coach him. Again, guys, we gotta update these facts, man. Yeah. So again, he's got a hint of Magic Johnson. And at times you can see a younger LeBron where you are not sure what position he is, Brown said. One moment you think he is a 4. Maybe he is a 3. He looks comfortable handling the ball. I mean, he's about maybe a 1 at best now out of 10. But again, it's... if you pass it to the other player, he gets fouled. You're only going to end up with 1 point, if he misses the other one. So again, you could have just dunked it. these same jokes over and over again. But again, you gotta pound it in the person's head and say, what the fuck, man? So, I mean, I don't know. Me personally, what did I get out of this? I don't know, not much. To be honest, guys, I woke up today, just everybody's Ben Simmons this, Ben Simmons that. You know, what the fuck are we going to do about this kid? Are we going to trade him? He's still making $30 a year for averaging, the fuck is he averaging? I don't even know. Let's check out some of the stats here. Okay, so this year, you know, he averaged 14.3 points. So out of the 4 years he's played, not including 2016-17, which he didn't play because of an injured foot, is his lowest average so far. Before that, it was 16.4. Year before that was 16.9. His first year was 15.8. Yeah, you know, it's decent. You know, it's a good number to have if you're a player. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, is it worth $30 million a year? Really? I mean, I don't know. I mentioned the Fresh Prince joke before, but that's some of his nicknames actually. He's got Fresh Prince, the Peacemaker, just Benny, the Yank, which means something totally different in North America, Big Ben, and the Wizard of Oz. Mr. Simmons, if you know the Wizard of Oz, if you got one wish, man, I would wish to get your shot back. I mean, I would just go with that for sure. Absolutely. You got the free shoes. You got the whole, picture with Steph Curry. That's cool too. But I mean, dude, you got to get your shot back, And it's weird too, man. I feel he has a weird thing, over the years. I mean, even with Markelle Fultz, I mean, they drafted him. He somehow lost his shot. I don't know, a lot of people say that he was in a secret car crash or something that fucked up his arm. He didn't tell anybody. I mean, this is how far these myths go in the NBA. And, you play in Philly, man, they don't put up with that shit. I mean, it's, keep in mind, they got a jail in, I think, the Philadelphia Eagles stadium there. This is how badly people fuck up there. And, they don't give a fuck. I mean, they threw the bottle, like I said before. They're fucking frustrated, man. I will say this, though. I mean, congrats to Atlanta. I do want to just say this as a side note. I can't believe they were only favored like 20-some% to win. I was really shocked by that. I would have gave Philly the obvious advantage, maybe 60-40, but that's it, man. I mean, Atlanta's been killing it. So Atlanta's hungry. They got a young team. I called this years ago with Atlanta. And to prove to you fuckers out there that I know what the fuck I'm talking about, in the next few years, you're going to see Cleveland Cavaliers kick some serious ass with their team. So, mark my words. But, yeah, Benny, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen with this guy. I don't know if he's going to go to another team. I don't know if he's going to go into hiding. I don't know. I mean, I was watching some of the clips online there. I didn't see that much rioting. Not really anything. People just pissed off, whatever, making their videos and complaining. Yeah. So, in my opinion, it's either one of two things. It's either something psychologically is happening with him, or I think it's more this. I think he wants out. I think the fact I just read about him playing for his dad's ex-coach, I think so far, like, I'm not saying he's been pampered or something like that since he's been in the league or, in his early childhood, whatever, but it seems like he's had a good thing going in the sense where, he followed in his dad's footsteps, he's worked really hard, and then he got to play with his dad's coach. And now he's got to work with another coach, and, you're playing in Philadelphia, which is a lot of pressure, which is not going to help at all, especially if you guys are, shit. It's just not going to help at all. I think he just wants out, and chances are they probably will trade him. Who the fuck is going to want him? Who's going to want to give up, their key players for him? Maybe they'll just... Philly will just take a chance with some other players. Who's going to want to pick up that 30 mil a year contract? Who the fuck knows? But, if it is a psychological thing, Ben, all I can tell you is this, man. Just take your time. You got the whole summer to work on your shot. Don't be afraid to go to therapy, Figure some shit out. You figure out what makes you happy. It may not even be basketball. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe you have some regrets not playing rugby. I mean, who the fuck knows? I don't know. I'm just saying these things. I don't know for sure. I'm just saying it could be a million fucking things, But for some reason, dickheads like me want to put in their 2 cents. And in the end, the only person that knows for sure what the problem is Ben Simmons.